It didn't unmute me. Hello and welcome back to ThoughtBot's AI in Focus. I'm ThoughtBot developer and CEO Chad Pytel, and today I'm joined by Bethan Ashley. Bethan, thanks for joining me.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Chad.
So you're a product lead at ThoughtBot, and so you came to us with the idea of exploring Figma Make. But how does this incorporate into your work at ThoughtBot?
Exactly. So it's a new tool that I want to experiment with. It works for PMs or product managers so that we can quickly play with a few ideas that we have. But today is really about experimenting with that together, and then we can talk about the pros and cons as we go.
Yeah. We're also seeing Figma Make with clients coming to us with prototypes already, testing out their ideas, getting a handle on the shape of the problem that they're trying to solve. And I'll have to say, from a perspective of someone who talks to a lot of people, it's both good and bad. It's good because it's much more concrete and real and easy to understand. We can have something concrete to talk over, and it also reduces, in the short term, reduces cost for the client. In the hard part about it is there's a lot of stuff already there and done, and that, as someone who's trying to quickly get up to speed and understand and to potentially scope out and give estimates for what it might take to build, there could be a lot of context to build up, but also there could be things there that truly aren't necessary for an MVP. And so the client, we'll see today, we're going to make something that's pretty functional and seems real. And so it should just be easy to finish it and go to production, right? So let's see where we end up today as we build out the idea for a new product.
Yeah, I think you hit on something quite essential there, Chad. It's very easy with this to go straight to high resolution. And historically, designers, product managers, we sit there and we do draw out things occasionally and sketch things. and what this is going to make today is unvalidated. So it's very easy to get very attached to something very quickly, and realize that actually that's not the way we should be solving it.
Yeah. So I'm going to switch over to the screen now. And so so Figma Make has been out for a little while. And the shape of what it does is you prompt it. And it starts off a little bit like if you've watched previous streams where we're using Claude Code to generate an application from context and prompts and that kind of thing. But it's within a sandbox provided by Figma that builds JavaScript UIs. So, right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, you did. So exactly that. And I think if you're on a free membership, you get a certain amount of prompts like within your daily limit. And then obviously if you're on a different sort of full paid seat, you get more prompts. And then you just access it from your sort of main dashboard. It's in the top right.
Mm-hmm.
Shall I give us a little bit of
So what are we going
to
build today? Yeah.
Yeah, exciting. So we've got a shout out for another of our thought botters. His name is Sammy. He came up with this idea recently on one of our podcasts. And today we are going to build a fish dating app. So what have you never needed in the world, but definitely need now, Chad?
I need a fish dating app. Well, first of all, I need fish. But then I need to find dates for my fish.
Exactly.
Now this is funny. It's a funny idea, but we actually get a significant number of potential clients, and we've worked with a couple to do dating apps previously. And there's a lot of people out there now, sort of meta level, who are really thinking about how AI can help with matching and change the experience of dating apps as well. So.
Exactly. So I'll give us a little rundown on what you can see on the screen. So obviously, as Chad said, you said at the beginning that you can prompt it. So we're going to start prompting it very shortly. But it's worth noticing that you've got some examples down here. So kind of like the collective libraries that you can leverage as an example to start with. Or you can just dive straight in and start prompting, which is what we're going to do today.
And I notice you can also attach designs to guide the result. Yeah.
Exactly that. So I think you press on this plus button and then you'll get a pop-up to drag and drop in that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start off deliberately non-prescriptive. I'm going to see what magic comes up, just to see what it does. I expect our first prompt might take a little longer while it's generating sort of the outside, the infrastructure and the general flow of the app. So I want to create a dating app for fish. Let's go.
Yeah, that was very broad.
Yeah, we'll see what comes through. You can see that it's doing some stuff very fast in the background.
It's planning now, and then it's working. But it went pretty fast. But it did put together a plan and said what it was going to do.
Exactly, and now it's giving you some snippets of code while it builds. So the thing I like about this, and I think it's similar in lots of the other tools, is you've got obviously your prompts section, but also your preview section. We'll dive a little bit more into different views in the preview section later as well.
Mm-hmm. And so technically, on the technical side of things, what it's building is it builds a React app. And this is another interesting thing is that it builds out a React app with state and everything. So, but there's no back end to it. It's all front end. So there's a real, one of the questions that I'm going to have going into this is, okay, can we really take because you can download the code that's all generated. It's a real working React application. How much effort would it actually take to hook it to a back end and make it even more real? Um, is what comes out of this something that can actually be built upon, or is it really just a throwaway prototype? That's one of the questions that I have going into it as a developer.
I've seen previously it's sort of asked me to connect to Supabase as well as an option, but I think you have to do some integrations.
Mhm. I didn't realize that it could do that, but that's really powerful potentially. Ben asks, "Is this a free or paid tool?" So it is part of both, right?
Yeah, yeah. You get a few free prompts a day through the free version of Figma. I think when I've been testing, it's between like 4 and 8 prompts a day. But this is the paid version that you're seeing right now.
Yeah. Okay, we got our app.
We have an app, so let's just make some space for our app. Look at this. Okay, we have an app with a title and an interesting logo called Plenty of Fish. Some copywriting issues there. And not copywriting. Yeah, copyright.
Oh, Nemo, yeah.
Yeah. With a picture, and then we have some some text, so name, age, location, some text, some tags, and then a yes or no. So you can see it's got the basics here. Let's see what
Hmm.
else it's got. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Let me know if that is too far on the screen. I'll try and get some more things in.
Yeah,
So
I think
there's
it's
some
okay.
chatting functionality. Thanks. Chatting functionality, no matches yet, and then our fishes. Okay, let's like Nemo. We're a fan of Nemo. And continuing this theme, you can see that it spun up something. This isn't a bad first start,
Hmm.
to be honest.
Yeah, and so notice like it when you liked it, it added a badge of one to the matches. And that's what I meant by it actually is building a React app with some state. And generally speaking, if you refresh the browser, you lose all the state, but it is building up state in your browser. So what happens now if you go over to matches?
Yeah, let's have a look. We have matched with Nemo, who we can send a message.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am actually pretty surprised that this is so well linked. When I've been playing with this previously on sort of different apps,
Mm-hmm.
not all the buttons always work. So you have to go and do some fixing, or it throws an error in the prompt console as well occasionally. You
Can
have to
we
go
can
and
we
have a
type?
fix.
Let's type something to Nemo.
What should we type? Hi, Nemo. Let's see if it does emojis. No, no emoji shortcut. Oh, we've got some emojis. Very British, sorry.
So I wonder how it's actually responding.
Okay. Good question. Should I prompt it again? What if I do the same
Yeah,
prompt?
say where did you go to school?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so it's
Well,
okay. I'm still impressed, but less impressed.
yeah, I was hoping for another like a school swimming fish joke.
Hmm. Hmm.
Back.
Um, wow, and you got to that by clicking on chat on Nemo. So I guess the chat screen is probably going to show you your different chats that you have. Oh, okay.
Yes, although
No, it
it did
just.
lose that,
Hmm.
and the back button here doesn't work. So this is an example of where it's kind of like good enough. It's on prototype
Hmm.
rather than fully functioning right now. Do you want to play with some of the branding?
Sure.
Yeah. So I guess in the animal kingdom, bright colours attract fish. So I was thinking maybe we could upload an image into the chat. So as you mentioned it, you can upload images into the prompt and see if it can pull branding from an image. So let's give that a go. Copy link. Bear with me. Okay. So I just copied and pasted a picture from the clipboard. It doesn't have to be on your local machine or anything like that. Use this as inspiration for branding. Any other requests, Chad? Some bubbles in the background or something like
Oh
that?
yeah, bubbles. That's a good idea.
Bubbles.
And for those of you watching live, we are monitoring the chat. So if you have ideas or things you'd like to see or for us to try, feel free to drop them in, and I'll make sure that we give it a try.
What's happening here? So we're thinking.
So is there change tracking in this in Figma Make, or is sort of like revision control automatically for the different changes?
So you've got a refresh, but I don't think
Mm-hmm.
you have a way to go back. I've always just sort of built on it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything explicit unless you found something similar.
I thought that it did have basic versioning.
Okay.
What is the next to the play button? There's a wrench or a gear. Sorry.
Settings for Make, so you can change the models you're using, the domains, any integrations.
Maybe you need. Maybe I was thinking that you need to hook it up to GitHub in order to get that.
Possibly. I mean, you can always jump back into the prompt and ask them to undo whatever they've just done.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see it's not instant. It does create a
Mm-hmm.
plan and think, and then generate the code.
Yeah, and one of the things that it seems like is that this is a little bit slower in theory, but it's doing more than most of the other tools that we've used on the stream before by itself, all in one go. So while it seems to take a little longer, it's doing more. That's certainly a color change. Ooh, the bubbles are animated.
That's pretty cool. It kind of has taken inspiration from that picture. If we go back to that picture, we can see it's picked out the blue, picked out some of the coral colors, and it paid attention to the bubbles, which is entertaining. Do you want to have shall we look at the code here? Do you want to jump into the code preview?
Yeah. So there's the preview and then there's the code. And yeah, go over to the code. So there's a basic editor built in to Make, right?
Yeah, and you can. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, and then I was going to say, but you can also hook it up to GitHub, or you can download the full source as a zip file.
Yeah, that's in this top right. Once you're in the code view, you just plug that one in. It's quite easy from here to change things like strings and things like that. You don't have to be the most technical to be able to go in.
So I see it. It has an array of potential responses to the chat. So that makes me think it was responding randomly to that, and we just happened to get the same one twice. But that's the kind of thing. Actually, if we go, can you search for find responses?
Yep.
Oh, fish responses is what it is. And then yeah, so here it is where it's what it's doing is it's taking the floor of a random. I think if you scroll over to the right, um,
Yeah.
it'll be math.random. Yeah. So one of the nice things about this as we do this is like, you can go in and look at how it's working and what it's doing. And if you have knowledge of code, you can figure that out and potentially make changes directly without having to reprompt or do everything through prompts.
Yeah, and from a PM's point of view as well, like say you're in your preview and you realize that there's a spelling or typo or you want to change a line, you don't have to prompt it. You can just find it in the code and change it. So
Mm-hmm.
for example, I'm just using the shortcut here, Control F, to find dive in. Or can you remember exactly what it said? Dive in love?
Dive into love, I think. We can dive into
Into.
love. Yeah.
Oh, it's not found it.
I think because you're just in chat.tsx.
Makes
And
sense.
so
Good question. Where is this going to be stored?
maybe an app.tsx. That'll be the top level. So yeah, it's also worth noting that this uses that Figma Make generates things in TypeScript rather than JavaScript directly.
It's found it, but it's probably off the page. Dive
Yeah,
into
there it
love.
is.
Bingo. Let's change that to swim. And then go back to our preview. And you can see actually how the prompts pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
it's
actually,
already
I do think it is version because that says version 3. So I do think it does have basic versioning.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. This restore to version button just here on the right of that prompt box. Ooh. So that's a little bit of an intro into the back end of it. Would you be up for making some more changes?
Yeah, I was wondering, should we try to fix that back button or do you have something else in mind?
Let's fix that back button first. That was in the chat, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to, you know what I realize is missing is create your own profile. That is missing.
Right, right.
Let's not try to do too much.
Yeah. But
One
that's
prompt.
good to know. That would be a good feature to add.
Yeah, exactly. So let's like Nemo, go and message Nemo, and then the back prompt here doesn't work. So the message functionality, the back button doesn't work. It's fixed. But also, I think, Chad, this is us actually getting trapped in seeing something high res,
Yeah.
and rather than thinking about the user experience, does it need a back button?
Right.
So this is one of the easy ways to get fixated on seeing something that's high res rather than thinking about the functionality of what's important to your users, what's important to the business.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that it has sound. When I was using it, I think I had the sound off on my computer, so I didn't notice the sound before.
I quite like it because if you're doing like a large prompt, like one at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, you can go away, do something else, and come back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if it's done it.
Yeah.
Yay, it's done it.
Great.
Nice. One of the
So
other
shall
things I
we add
like.
building out your own profile?
Yeah, let's do that. So I am a fish. I would like to sign up, sign in, specifics, create a profile in the app. Where do I do this?
Ooh, that's an interesting way to phrase it. Like, where do I do this?
Yeah, I guess I've given it a bit more freedom to make
Mm-hmm.
decisions. Now, if I wanted to, I could be like using best practices, use a short flow as possible, make it as accessible as possible. But I haven't. I've kind of asked it to go and make that decision
Mm-hmm.
itself.
So it looks like what it's going to do is add a fourth tab in the navigation.
Yep. And the thing that's kind of missing from this right now, like we're using what we create to put into the app, but ideally what we would be doing is testing this with real fish to
Mm-hmm.
see what they were and weren't using and what they would get stuck on, because it contributes to the feature bloat, like you were saying earlier. Is it really valuable right now?
Right.
Oh, we have a profile. Okay, some basic things. It seems to have got the generic name, age, species.
Does the interest selector work? Can we X out like exploring or add things? Okay.
It does actually. Blowing bubbles. And yeah. Should we test it up to 6?
Sure. Yeah.
Allows duplicates, and then it freezes. It's not the best customer experience there, just to not be able to type and no
Right.
color change.
It is interesting too, and maybe this comes from the fact that it is those fields were pre-filled out when you came to the screen. I wonder if that's influenced by that it is creating like a basically a clickable prototype. It's not trying to create a real app, and so it's influenced by that. Maybe that would be my guess, but I don't actually know.
Yeah, it's helpful to show sort of what the intention is, I guess, if we go
Hmm.
through. So I don't know if you've noticed, but fish have fins rather than thumbs.
Hmm.
So I think it might be a little hard for our fish to use this app at the moment. How do you feel about making just that little bit more accessible to our fish audience?
It sounds great. I love accessibility, and usually accessibility makes it uh, easier to use for everybody in some way, benefits everybody. But we'll see if making an app that works without thumbs ends up benefiting everybody, making it easier for us too.
Yeah, I'm really curious how this one will come
Hmm.
about. It's funny you mentioned that. One of my when we run the ideation exercises as part of a design sprint, we do the speedy eights, so you can draw as many quick ideas as you have. And one of my prompts is actually something that I would make or build for my mum. She's not the most technical person, so I like to make sure she's in my prompts as well to make sure that things are more accessible to more people.
Hmm.
So let's go. I quite like this as well because you don't have to know the details of the accessibility standards, for example.
Right.
We'll go and work them out and come back to you with them as well. I'm really curious now.
I know this open-ended thing is funny to see. Let's see what happens.
See, if this was product world rather than just fish in an app, you'd be thinking about how can you change the medium. Like it wouldn't even necessarily be an app. Like maybe we can make this more accessible in another way. Like should it be a physical product? Should it be something else? So it's kind of taking you down that funnel and holding you there.
Taking a long time to think about this one. One of the
Maybe
things
what
that I've noticed about Make while this runs, we didn't specifically say mobile app, but this is styled as a mobile app. It's got a bottom nav. It's clearly intended for mobile, but it's good for prototyping mobile applications, but it, it can do desktop only like applications as well, like full more like web app kind of style. Ooh, that's a great suggestion, Sammy. Maybe we'll do that after we finish the accessibility thing that we're doing. How would you spot a shark using the app to meet other fish for nefarious reasons? I like that.
I've got that song playing in my head that Dory sings after she's captured by the sharks. So what did it come back with us? Okay.
Yeah.
It has replaced, so I quite like the fact that it's telling you specifically what it's done to change as
Mm-hmm.
well. Replace small text inputs to large text or tap to select buttons, big tiles, increase the size of things, more toggles, and changes to
Wait, can you
buttons.
go back? The swipe buttons are now huge.
Where is that? Where have I missed it? Swipe buttons are now huge. Down here. Yeah. Heart button even bigger. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. Do you notice this subtle, like, I feel like I'm being led by the app here slightly.
Oh, because yeah,
The size difference between the icons is
mm-hmm.
forcing me to favor the likes. Now, I don't know if that's intentional or not. It would be a clever ploy to get
Maybe
people using the
Nemo's
app.
just a good match for you.
Quite possibly, quite possibly. I just need to buy a fish tank. So yeah, so it's made things bigger, it's sorted out spacing, it's text thoughtful about toggles.
Everything is now easy to tap with fins, flippers, or even a tail. No tiny buttons or precise clicking needed.
And then also, interestingly, straight after that, it then automatically fixed the errors, the syntax errors.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that, technically speaking, the fact that it's building in TypeScript is actually an advantage because it's easier to know. Oh, the way TypeScript works is it is compiled. It has a compilation step, unlike JavaScript, which doesn't. It just runs. And so it is a little bit easier to, and the types that come along with TypeScript just provide a little bit more of a sort of structure or safety net for the code itself, and makes the AI more successful in working in the code.
Shall we give Nemo a little like and see what else has changed?
Yeah.
Actually, wait, let's say no to Nemo. Let's say
Okay.
no to Nemo this time. Let's say yes to Dory.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a match. And another fish. Okay, so we've amped up our matches. I quite like these animations, actually. I wasn't expecting those so much.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have our matches. So you can see, oh, there you go, little glitch. And it might be the
What happened?
how much we're zoomed in or not. I actually can't access these buttons. They're below the bottom line. Let's see if I zoom out on my browser. Then it obviously changes the resolution so I can click them. And then messaging Dory, I can message as normal. Hello, Dory. And then going back actually takes you to matches. Okay, so it's made those quite succinctly.
Oh, the profile is completely different than it was before. So now you have your name. If you scroll down, you have your name, and then that's what I was talking about. I didn't quite understand what it was talking about the select when it made the accessibility changes, but being able to select things like your age, or now you're selecting the kind of fish you are instead of typing it in.
Got you. Do these work? So far, so good. Up to 6. Slightly broken on that one.
Yeah, it stopped at 3.
Stopped at 3. I wonder if it's
Unless we
cached
already
all
had 3 selected.
Does like it.
So if you save that and then come back, does it have it remembered?
It didn't select. Did I select a profile picture? Let's just save that. Okay. Let's go back. Yes, and it actually updated the profile picture after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's another example of what I mean by it's maintaining state of what you choose and that kind of thing on the client side, but this isn't currently hooked up to any sort of back end. And that would really need to be the next step if we were trying to make a real bridge the gap from using this as actual foundation to a real product.
Exactly. And the one thing that I'm so keen to stress here is that none of this is validated, none of this has been tested. So like we could be investing time in these features,
Yeah.
but not to resonate with our fish.
Right. So this is following up. We've shown how in past streams we've shown how we do the first part of the product design sprint, which is really understanding, coming up with ideas, building context, and then we're able to take that context and bring it into a rapid prototyping tool like this to be able to rapidly build out something that we would typically actually use Figma to make a clickable prototype, but it was pretty static. And now we're able to make a prototype that's rapidly built out, a little bit more real for people, and then that we're able to then test that with real people. So that's part of the typical flow, and we're not taking a ton of time to do that. That's typically done in the span of a week. And these tools are allowing us to move faster and accomplish even more faster.
Yeah, I think where it's also still really important to have a designer like around overseeing this, doing this, is because it's so easy to not like the main purpose of this page could be the smallest. It's very easy for the app to put this as the smallest space on the page. So if your main functionality takes up the smallest bit, then you need to make sure that the heat map of the app is balanced correctly for your user journeys and your customers' outcomes that are actually wanting. So the example for that would be in this app, I actually have to scroll down to the thing that I want to do. Now I'm going to make an assumption that I can just swipe like I would normally on a phone.
Are you able
But
to
that
drag
one,
that or no?
let's have a look. No, click and drag isn't working on me. But
When it comes to design too, there's also for us a real question whether we can actually just take this design and use it for real. Mostly the answer is no, because we don't know that this wasn't copied from something else. And so we can't really consider it an original design that we would bring to market without checking and making sure that that's the case. And also, I think as craftspeople, we are grappling with the question like, what do we like to do and what do we don't like to do? And are we having these tools take away the things we like to do? And there is a certain sort of art and craft to the work that we don't necessarily want to take ourselves out of.
yeah, and I think creativity wise, like don't forget these models are built on what already exists in the world. So you're kind of reducing the opportunity for someone to come up with something super creative or really works to your idea or your brand as well.
Yeah. So shall we explore Sammy's idea of shark spotting?
Yes. What shall we prompt? How shall we prompt this?
We can probably use a version of the question that Sammy asked. So, how would you spot a shark using the app to meet other fish for nefarious reasons? For non-dating reasons.
Non-dating reasons. I was like, please don't test my spelling.
One of the things, and this is sort of the point, but I think Make really does it well, which is this is really accessible to non-technical people. We're prompting in pretty generic language around even just asking a question, not even saying how to do it or what to do. And it's producing working prototype from that prompt. And it just does it. So it didn't say here, it didn't answer our question. It just went and started making it, figured out and then starts to do it. And then the thing I do like is that if you are more technical, you can get into the code, you can download it, you can connect it to Git, like you can do those things. So
Yeah, and when I've worked with earlier versions of like AI tools that do similar things with prompts, like often it will go do the research, come back to you, and then say, "Do you want me to do it?" This is quite nice. It just does what it needs to do.
So what does it say that it did?
Every fish needs to stay safe in the dating pool. So we now have a safety center, which is a new tab with things to watch out for, safety tips and verification badges. And we're verifying our fish in the profile menu. And we can report fish. And we can also report them from here as well. So this is an example where this is probably a bit much and then starts to create like confusion to our fish.
Right.
Especially if you do end up having the swipe actions on something like this. Swipe probably now means report. Should we have a look in our tabs? So we said we have bluefish. Grab anything there. Maybe it's all in this. Okay, shark alert. I really like the fact that it's got our tone and it's implementing that into the app.
Yeah. Stay safe in the dating current.
Makes comments about looking tasty or good enough to eat. And then you can verify your fish.
What happens if you click report suspicious profile?
Thing.
Okay, so nothing. Yeah, that's okay. And that's the kind of thing where, if we're not testing that, or it's not, you can have those dead ends because they don't matter for the tests that we're doing with real users.
Exactly. I think one thing that will definitely improve the quality of the prototypes that come out of this are feeding in some classic job stories
Yeah.
of when this happens, this type of fish want this to happen so that. And similarly, like if you prep your model with who your customer is and everything you know about them, it can make better informed decisions. It's kind of like doing that early work yourself on the like who your personas are, what kind of motives, the emotional intelligence piece, and then letting it run.
Shall we? I'm wondering about asking it, or I don't know how prescriptive to be. I'm thinking about the fact that it's not swipeable, and also the fact that we've got these 3 buttons now. I wonder, do we ask it to like clean this up? Do we like explicitly ask for making it swipeable? What do you think?
Let's try and put them both into one prompt and see. So the security flags aren't clear. We'll just be really vague. Like that's the kind of feedback you might get that you then have to translate. And when you're interviewing someone, you're like, okay, well, help me understand why the security flags aren't clear. What is it that what are you seeing here? So let's see if it can pick through that. The security flags aren't clear and overwhelming. Can you about grammar? Can you also make this swipeable?
It's like 2 unrelated things, but we got it as feedback, and we're putting it in.
Yeah, exactly. And with really bad grammar as well through there just to test it. But it does a good job of reasoning that into a real sentence. I think one of the other things that this doesn't take into account is like trends in the industry. I'm sure you could prompt it to say, look at these types of apps as comparison. I know glass is quite popular at the moment in design. I really like glass. My app's going to be published here, and here. What are we doing? We're fixing the import. redesigning the safety center. Still got this extra big button, so I wasn't specific enough about that.
So I'm reading what it's doing, and actually it thought we were talking about the safety center because we lumped those two unrelated things together. So now it added the swiping to the tips, to the safety tips, not to the cards for fish.
Oh yeah, okay. But you can see how this becomes feature bloat very, very quickly as well. Because do we really need swiping cards? Swim away immediately. Let's try and get it to do what we actually wanted it to do. In the Discover section, please. Swiping. I generally am polite to my LLMs.
I know, me too.
How about you?
I wonder what it's going to do with these three buttons and swiping. Oh, it already has drag functionality implemented.
If I click and drag. Swipe with your fins. Okay, click and drag still not working. Oh, okay. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Hold on. Okay, let's just click it. Click and drag. Okay. Let's try restoring it to version 9 and seeing if it had it, and I just didn't know how to use the functionality. Okay. Yeah, it did. It did it automatically.
Okay.
Okay. Nice.
It's still unclear to me because like if you go up, this fish has a red flag on the top of it. Is that just showing an example of where it would be if that fish was flagged? Because that's not tappable, is it? That's not clickable.
Yeah, it is. So that's
okay.
So I think this is an example of why having two red flags on the screen. And also probably this shouldn't be red. I'm going to caveat all of this with my non-designer hat. But
it's way too prominent, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Visually. Exactly. So it should just be there when you choose to click on it. It then changes color.
Right. That looks like that the fish has been flagged. Can we give it that feedback and see what it does?
I'm going to be more specific, knowing that it got confused last time.
You didn't say please.
I thought about it. Okay. I think what this is sort of teaching us as we go through is that specific is sometimes really helpful, and the more solid guidance you're able to provide it on who your audience are, your customer journey through the app, the better your outcome's going to be. Okay, what do we got? This is equally as worrying.
Yeah, if not more so.
I feel like there's a bug in the app somewhere when it shows me that, like the file's missing.
Right. I
Um,
wonder, is it better to try to continue to prompt it, or is it better to just go back and try again? Does it, I guess,
Not sure it makes much of a difference
mhm,
unless we change our wording. Should we
right.
try it? What happens if I restore and then use the exact same wording? Does it come up with the same? Because
Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah, that's a good thing to try.
yeah, what I've found when I've tried to do this previously is even with the same prompt, but on two different like versions of Figma Make, you'll actually get something different each time.
Hmm.
From
Hmm.
it will look slightly different or different order of features and things.
I'm just gonna step away 1 sec. I'll be right.
No worries. Again, let's see if we'll end up with the same as we had last time, or whether it will be something different.
I am traveling. Folks might recognize I'm not in my usual place, and I heard housekeeping. I'm in a hotel, and I heard housekeeping coming down the thing, so I wanted to put out the privacy sign.
Sounds pretty good. Good call, Chad. Unless we wanted some extra viewers on the live stream.
Yeah.
Okay, it's done it again. It's taken about the same amount of time.
Looks like it pretty much did the same thing.
It did. It did. Okay.
Now
So I
it's
can see how
crystal
this.
clear that these are buttons. Fish can tap.
I love it. I think you could easily spend quite a lot of time like
Yeah.
trying to get this right. So you could be prompt, 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 prompt. And if you're on the free version of this, it's probably a very quick way to
Hmm.
like use up all your prompts for the day. So maybe strategically choose your prompts on those days if you're on that version.
Yeah. Maybe we can say that we actually liked the flags.
Yeah, they looked non-clickable.
Sure.
And then one other thing I'm dying to do, Chad, is to play with the brand name and the logos.
Hmm.
See what it does after this. Is there anything else on this screen that you wanted to dive into? So like there's actually a view here where you can see the mobile preview, which
Hmm.
is quite handy. Again,
Whoa, those buttons are huge.
yeah, I think folks might be, here we go. We can use a bigger screen, smaller screen. Quite helpful. But you would want this like sort of in a reactive environment on multiple different screens to be able to fit better to the screen. So
Yeah.
those buttons aren't hidden at the bottom or they're not disproportionate to the screen size and things like that. Okay, and also I forgot to mention there's actually a console, so you can see what it's up to when it's doing it as well.
Cool.
Okay, so what do we have? We have flags again, non-clickable and with a hover.
Yeah.
And they work. Nice. Shall we have a go at the creativity for the
Yes.
name?
Let's give it a try.
So let's get creative. want full creative mode. Something that will inspire our fish to date with the app. Change the app name and logo to match, keep in theme with the current branding.
Plenty of fish actually isn't that bad.
I feel like it exists though. Is that not
Oh,
a
really?
real app? Yeah, or I think it is. It is a real dating app, I think.
Oh, okay.
But as the pun names go for a fish dating app.
What is it? I'm thinking Binder. Now, as pun name goes, I think that might be even better.
Which one did you like? Finder.
Cinder.
And we've
Wow.
got bubble
Wow.
hearts.
I think this
Love
might
it.
be making the case for hiring Thoughtbot to do your design instead of Figma Make.
I mean, it did stick to the brief. We did give it a brief.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it comes up with multiple options as well, as if you were talking to like an LLM, it would list out these ones. Give me options. And let's see if it goes ahead and just plums it straight in, or if it actually
Mm-hmm.
knows to wait.
So yeah, it's doing the options in the app itself. I wonder how they're going to be presented.
Yeah, let's see what it turns out.
I've been watching some of the code as it's gone by. It's only in this little window, but then when we went over to the code too, like it's pretty understandable. In terms of it's not a big mess. Is my initial impression. So that's good. It also makes it more likely that someone non-technical can just jump over and find the copy change that they want to make and be able to make it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you felt about like the organization of files and generally like quality of code that's coming out. I know it's hard without digging through it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. But my initial impression is, that it's not terrible.
That's good. That's promising.
So there are all the options.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So we have Cinder, Tide Match. That's quite a good name. Hearts and Pearl Match.
School
School
crush. I
Crush.
like. So if we choose this, does it then give us the app with that one?
Let's try. Yeah. But you see what it's done is it's given that option
Mm-hmm.
to the customer or our little fish. Let's have a look. I have seen it generate more intricate logos as well in the past. I think we could really push it to like generate a logo. as well. They're all animated, so it's picked up on our request for animated bubbles.
Boy, it's really going all in on the emoji on this one in that tagline.
Yeah. And not balanced either. Not
Right.
centrally aligned.
Actually, it is when you the actual it's not visually, but it is technically
There's
against
a
the main
really big
logo.
there's a very big debate about that, isn't there? You could get lost down a Reddit thread somewhere on that, I'm sure,
Yes.
about which one's more superior to be technically aligned or visually aligned. Okay. Is there anything else that is inspiring you with our fish app? Anything else you want to dig into?
Well, if anybody's watching has any ideas of things that they'd like to see, now would be a good time to drop them in the chat. Um,
You can also play with this a
yeah,
little
that's what I
bit.
was going to suggest as sort of the if we're going to start moving towards wrap up to show the public the publication process. Oh, that actually wasn't what you were going to say, was it?
Similar. So I was just going to
Oh,
show
okay.
what it actually looks like as a tested prototype, but I think it's going to open a new tab, which might be challenging for our screen sharing. Let's give it a whirl anyway. Essentially what it does is just remove this chat side and shows you this. But we can look at the publishing. I think also sharing. You can share
Right.
to people the same way you would a normal Figma file. Publish process. So you can feature this on the community. So I guess that's where those initial use as a template ones came from. So you can upload from there and then you can press publish.
Yeah, and you can choose who can view it, and we have the default is anyone on the web. So this is going to publish it to an actual website that will be available on the internet.
And
we should publish it and then put it in the notes for the episode.
Okay, let's give this a whirl. I'm wondering if it auto generates this URL as well based on our title. We'll see.
I think so, yeah.
Let's do it.
Cool. So you get the URL.
Clipboard. Right. Wonder if we can put that in the chat.
Yeah, do it.
I think I have to join the chat on YouTube to be able to do it.
Oh, you should be able to do it on StreamYard.
Okay. Maybe I will post it to you in our private chat.
Oh, okay, yes.
And then you're a little bit more familiar with StreamYard than I am, so you can find the right button.
Okay. Well, this is interesting, and I like. I think there's a lot to like about this as part of what we have been exploring the last couple of weeks. Is how these kinds of tools have really allowed us to level up the amount that we're able to accomplish in creating a functional prototype as part of the early stages of product development, coming as part of the design sprint, making sure that we're validating the product as we're going and building the right product. I think there's a lot to like about this. What's your take, Bethan?
I think it's helpful to illustrate ideas quickly. And I think the more value that you put in, the more you're going to get out. And it's great to have something to test. Just try to be mindful whilst you're creating it that you don't get too attached because it's so high res, it's so ready there. Like you have to be willing to change your ideas based off of the data that comes in, based off any research and feedback.
Right.
But it's a great
And
way to speed.
you're not always getting something that you can take the code that has been generated and move it and start building upon it. Like I was one example app that I was seeing had a very sophisticated calendar component of JavaScript and drag and drop dates on it. But you could only drag the events on the calendar horizontally. You couldn't do it vertically, like to the next week. And the amount of effort it would take to even begin to answer the question of whether that's a bug worth fixing in that code in order to be able to use that like the calendar from that prototype as a basis for the real product, like that in and of itself is a lot of effort to even figure that out. So it's tough. It's tough to say.
What do you generally feel about like the code for health of like scalability and security and things like that? Because obviously this is just generating right now.
Right. Well, I think that because it's generating front ends, we don't need to worry too much about like actual performance and scalability. But I do think we need to worry about maintainability and like being able to use it into the future. That's where I think most people are going to hit a hurdle around whether the code is actually worth building upon. Security wise, again, since it's just a prototype, you don't need to worry about that. But that would be like major questions for me in terms of taking the significant amount of code that you didn't write or review and building upon it. There might be hidden pitfalls in that you didn't even realize.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, this was great. Thank you very much for joining and exploring this new tool with me.
No worries. Thank you everyone who's watched along as well, and those who will inevitably watch along in the future.
Yes, and we will be off next week because of the Thanksgiving holiday in the US. But we'll be back the following week. And thank you for watching. If you've got ideas for new products that you'd like to have us explore or new features to implement that actually use AI, we are all ears. Drop them in the comments here, and we will swim on over to to take a look. Thank you all very much. I'll see you next time.